welcome back. It's 25 minutes past 2 o'clock. Now, promises are inevitable whenever an election looms. Political parties will do all they can to get your vote. The ANC launched its local government election manifesto in Pretoria last night, but admitted it's made mistakes in the past and it wants another chance. But do they deserve another one? Do you believe them? Well, I'm joined now by political analyst Sandile Swana to talk to us about his views. Mr. Swana, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Midday View this hour. I know you've told me that you watched the speech, the election manifesto launch. As we begin, and very briefly, what stood out for you? What was it about this particular election manifesto launch of the ANC that stood out for you before we get into the nitty-gritty?
First of all, I think he highlighted that they are going to be very big on job creation. In that category, it included insourcing of contracted employees and termination of outsourcing and things like that. He talked about the eradication of hunger and allowing people to even plant vegetables on pavements and agricultural projects so that people are not hungry. He also talked vaguely about the fact that the ANC has made mistakes whilst it was in government, in as much as they were good in service delivery, which it did not quantify as to what that is, but there were some of their own representatives who were abusing the positions for individual benefits. So, and then he went on to the attack on the DA, that the DA has not been rendering good services and has deprived people, for instance, in certain areas, including Lodium, of water, etc., etc.
Some people would say a good leader would admit to his or her mistakes. In this case, he stood up and says, yes, we've made mistakes in the past. Give us another chance. Vote for us once again at the local government level, where there are so many service delivery challenges, and we'll make things better over the next 5 years. But I'm saying, yes, well and good, you admit your past mistakes, but can voters trust that you will actually deliver this time around?
Yes, the other difficulty with this question is that, you know, through our involvement in the community, for instance, we know that during the time that the ANC was in power in Moyane, the bus company of Moyane was robbed blind by managers to the detriment of the community. They stole enormous sums of money. 1 year under the same ANC government, the municipality ran out of money and they had to issue a special levy. So it would be important for Cyril Ramaphosa and his co-leaders to actually quantify to us and say, when it comes to financial mismanagement, this is what we did, this is where we went wrong, and this is exactly how we're going to correct that. A general vague admission of wrongdoing without pinpointing the wrong things that need to be corrected, it's a problem. And only those who are religious about the particular political party will actually fall for that and support them for that.
Yeah, you know, one of the thoughts I had, I was watching him as well speak last night, Sandile, was that this is the very party that's been in power in different parts of local government in the country. We're talking about local government here. Okay, they lost, suffered a shock defeat in Nelson Mandela Bay in 2016. They lost to the DA, then led by Arthur Trollope in Nelson Mandela Bay. And you have coalition governments. No outright majority. They lost Tshwane and Johannesburg. And they've been in power there. Where they've been in power, we're seeing challenges like year in and year out. The Auditor General points out lack of accountability, mismanagement, waste and irregular expenditure. Not 1 year, year in after year in. Surely he could be very specific about how they're going to arrest mismanagement of public funds at the local level.
Yes, that is a very difficult thing, because all of us now who studied these things from time to time, we know in precise terms that they've been given every year for about 11 years or so detailed guidelines of the things by the Auditor General of the things that they need to correct. They've received plenty of guidance and advice from SALGA of the things they need to correct. And, there is this story that the DA controls about 10% of the municipalities, but which would be less than 30, really, municipalities in South Africa, and the balance is probably in the ANC mainly. Now, but when the top 5 municipalities, top performing municipalities are identified, the DA is leading that list. They come from the DA mainly. And it's isolated cases of very small negligible municipalities where, like saying in the Eastern Cape, where Lady Grey area, where you hear the ANC at least has been performing in terms of administration, but the poverty is still widespread in those areas. So the track record of poor performance of the African National Congress in municipalities is well established and beyond all doubt as we speak to.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what the electorate is going to do come 1st of November. But you and I are still going to talk quite for some time now ahead of the 1st of November. Thank you for now. Thank you for your time, Sandile Swana, giving us some of his insights after the launch of the ANC's manifesto.